Good morning. Me again. From my car. What's freaking new? So I waited a long time to make a video again. And last night I just was freaking up all night. I could not sleep. There's just been so much that has gone on. And I wanted to wait till I had lots of things to say before I said it, or knew how to say it in the right way. And last night I was laying in bed, and I would like roll over every 3 freaking minutes and put a note in my phone, because I had no idea what I was going to say. And really I had a whole lot to say, because I just, random thoughts last night, all the time, over things that have happened recently, and they all just kind of run together, and I really don't even know how I want to talk about this. And I was going to do my hair and makeup before I made this video, because half my steering wheel's in the way of my uh-oh, I see me in the way of my screen right now. So yeah, we look scary. But so I really just want to read you guys my notes that I had last night in the middle of freaking night at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because sometimes, like, somebody asks me how I do it and get no sleep, and it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm up till 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Most of the time I don't ever freaking sleep. And there's just, sometimes there's thoughts that go in my head, or there's things that I need to get done, and I feel like a worthless piece of crap if I sleep past like 7 o'clock, because I feel like there was so much that I could get done that day in those hours. And I'm just gonna read you everything that went through my mind last night, and I'll talk on it as I read it, I guess. So anyway, I said, we get so caught up in social media validation that we do it for likes. And we just want people to notice. We want people to tell us we're doing better and that we've improved. And we only believe it when they say it. And if they don't say it, we don't believe it. And it just comes to a point that I wonder when we needed everybody else's validation to know that what we were doing is bettering ourselves or is an improvement. Because no one can really tell you you're making improvements but you. Nobody really knows what's in your heart. Nobody really knows that a year ago when you were maxing out, if that was really your best effort, or when you were staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning doing homework, was that really your best effort? Or did you have to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning? Could you have done it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you were binge watching Netflix? Nobody really knows what your best effort is. People only know what you let people believe. And you need to stop believing what other people say, and just kind of focus on what's in your own head and what's in your own heart. Because 110% to you may not be 110% to somebody else, or what you tell somebody is your all may not be your all. People get so caught up in social media that they don't realize that they're caught up in social media, and they need it brought back out of it, and that their whole lives revolve around it. And sometimes they're in it for the wrong reasons, and they're not doing it for themselves anymore, but for people online behind a screen that they may never see in their life. And that was just something that's really been big in like some friendships that I've had, or some people online, because I feel like everybody goes through a time where it's like they're just doing it for social media to keep up appearances, or to get likes or something like that. And to some people that may not be a big deal to call people out, but for me, anything that I ever talk about is probably something that I'm relating to right now, or that I've been through, and that somebody has brought to my attention, or I've had friends go through a time in their life where they were literally just doing it for social media. What they were saying and what they were doing wasn't even for themselves anymore, but it was just like, I'm too sleepy. It was for just kind of like show on social media. And for me, I just feel like, hell yeah, I'm going to say something. Because it's everybody's life, and they can live whatever life they want to live. But the life that I want to live is bettering other people and calling people out and motivating people if motivation's even real. I don't really believe it's real, but inspiring other people, I think inspiration is better than motivation. I'll talk on that. But, you know, because sometimes people don't even realize they're doing it, and they get caught up in things. And, you know, I have friends who want to do certain things in their life, and sometimes they get caught up in what's online. And, you know, I've done it myself plenty of times, and I had to have people like say, hey, what the hell, bitch? And I'm like, oh, you know, like, and then sometimes I didn't want to hear it. Sometimes it just took me seeing other people go through it or seeing it online, and I'm like, damn, is that what's going on with me? Maybe I need to make some changes. Like, that's the type of person I want to be, the type of friend I want to be, the type of friends I want to have, that whenever I'm doing some shit that's off the beaten path, they're going to bring me down to it. Or that I can talk about something that maybe somebody didn't realize was their issue, and they can be like, hey, that's my issue. I need to change that. Because I don't really believe in motivation. You know, I try to find things that motivate me and stuff like that, but motivation is not permanent. It does not last forever. You know, I always see people say, you know, like, I need somebody to go to the gym with me, or I need somebody to do this with me, or I need somebody to hold me accountable. Like, no. Because what happens when that person's not there? What happens when that person can't show up? Who the hell is going to hold you accountable? Who is going to motivate you? Nobody. And so for me, I feel like inspiration is longer lasting. It's something that doesn't ever go away because it impacted you more greatly than just one day. It was over time and for longer periods of time. And so, you know, what inspires me may not inspire you, and what works for me may not work for you. I've had some people say some mean things to me, and not in a hurtful way, but it's just like, to the person next to me, they'll be like, damn, that's harsh. But to the person on this side, they're like, hell yeah, preach. You never know. Because everybody is human, and we're different, and that's what makes us so unique, is that what works for me doesn't work for you. And I really, oh no, I lost my notes. Nope. I lost my notes. Everything I freaking had to say to you guys is right back here. I found it. Don't worry. Anyway, so let me just keep going before I get too caught up in a rant. When you don't feel like going to the gym, or you're falling off, and just go so that people don't think you don't go anymore. Like, there's a big issue if you fall off, or if you don't go, or sometimes we need to take a break and you're not as strong as you used to be. There's always something to prove to somebody else. But that's the issue, is like, why do we need to prove it to other people that we're still going to the gym, or that we're still lifting, or that we're still doing our homework, or that we're still getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day? Like, sometimes it's okay to fall off, to have a new hobby, or to take a break, or to get your mind right, because we're human. It happens. You have to sometimes, like, fall off to get back on, and to regather your thoughts, and that's something I think that a lot of people struggle with. They don't want to be weak, or feel weak, or let other people down that are looking up to them. But we're human. If I didn't fail and I didn't struggle, and nobody would want to talk to me, because nobody wants to be with somebody who's perfect, because nobody's perfect. Just Jesus. And even he wasn't perfect, clearly. Okay, he was, but you know what I'm saying. I don't want to talk about Jesus right now. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so why did I write? I had so many thoughts. This is why I can never do nothing, because I get so sidetracked, and I have 482 million thoughts in my head, and y'all wonder why I don't want to talk to anybody from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and my phone's on Do Not Disturb, because I am grumpy, and I'm still trying to figure out what I was thinking about. Stop proving to everybody else and prove it to yourself. Some people might say it's not your job to call people out, and bring people back, and let people do what they want to do, but it's my job to hold people accountable. Why not, when you see somebody get lost off their regular path, why not say something? Why not be the person that says, hey, you care more about social media than you do about your health? Why not call people out? I know whenever I'm on the path, I fall off, and I sure as hell needed somebody to say it sooner than what they actually did. what I say and how I say it may not work for everybody, and you may not comprehend what I have to say, and that's what makes us human. We're all different, and we all need something different. We all strive to be something different. Well, we all want a different path to get us maybe somewhere that ends us in the right direction of somebody else, but we want to get there differently. I can reach 10 people down the street where you can reach 10 people, around the block. Like, it's not the same, and those 10 people may reach another 10 people that I couldn't have reached, and that's what makes us unique. And sometimes people need to hear things they didn't realize they needed to hear, and sometimes you can't directly hear what somebody has to say, and sometimes it's just one of those things that it's like, I don't know how else to put it, but it's like, sometimes I can say something that you may not think relates to you, but you need to hear it. Or, I could say it to you directly and you're not going to listen. It's like, you may not need to eat the candy bar that's on the table. And me telling you not to eat that candy bar is only going to make you want to eat that fucking candy bar. So I'm going to leave that candy bar there. And I'm going to let you make that choice. And sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes you can't just tell people over and over again, because they're not going to want to listen if they're not ready to hear it. You have to be ready to hear something. And so sometimes you just have to leave it out there for somebody. And maybe they'll come back to it and they'll see it and they'll be like, damn, this applied to me. I see shit all the time I didn't think applied to me or that I didn't need to hear. And I'm like, maybe I did. Because that's really touching me right now. And somebody throwing it in my face isn't what worked. It was just it being there. And somebody sending a message. Maybe it was a message that was meant for themselves and they just felt like sharing. Because I share shit with y'all all the time that most of the time relates to me. But somebody needed to hear it. And that's what's just so beautiful about human nature and about struggles and triumphs, is that sometimes you didn't even know you were struggling. And sometimes you may not have needed to hear it today, and sometimes you needed to hear it tomorrow. And what's meant for one person worked for 5 people. And really, I just think that's like a big thing for me lately, especially motivation and holding people accountable that didn't know that they needed to be held accountable, and really understanding what motivation is and what inspires you and what keeps you going. Because I sure as hell am not motivated at 4 o'clock in the morning when I have to get up every day, or until 10 o'clock at night whenever I still have homework to do and horses to feed and to go to the gym and to go to work. And I travel everywhere I go. Nothing is 5 miles or 10 minutes for me. Nothing. And sometimes I spend 4 hours of my day just in my car getting places for, a class that's fucking 15 minutes long. And it sucks, but it's like, I'm not motivated. I do it because I have to do it, because later on down the road, it's going to be worth it. So motivation is shit to me. I might be motivated at the time, but motivation is not forever to me. And some people may not agree with that. When I lost Albie, I was motivated to do that meet. And I did that meet for him. And then what the hell kept me going? What he did for me was inspiring. And sometimes it keeps me going and sometimes it doesn't. Because sometimes I miss him and I don't have him here to yell at me and to hit me and to call me a freaking weenie and a faggot and a vagina and whatever else it is that he called me. And it's hard because I keep losing those people that helped keep me going and motivated me, and that's when I realized that motivation is shit sometimes, but it's the people who inspired you that keep you going. And I may not always motivate people, and I might make people mad, but there are people that I inspired that have followed me and talked to me for years that I didn't even know existed. And people pay attention whenever you fall off. Whenever I do things differently, or I say things differently, or I don't post online. There are people that notice that I didn't even think about. And what you do matters. And I've lost a couple friends, and it's breaking my heart. And I woke up this morning and I was just like, is this real freaking life? Is what I'm going through right now enough to get me down, or to stop being who I am, or to change how I talk to people, or get things out there? And it's not, but it hurts and it sucks, losing people and missing people. And but it's what they leave behind, and that inspiration that they're going to leave in other people that's going to keep me going and keep me saying and doing what I do, because it's a lot of who I am is things that I've taken from those people. And I'm going on and on and on about this, and you guys probably aren't listening anymore, but it's beyond motivation for me, because they're not there for me every day. But what they did for me and what they made me feel is there for me every day, and that's kind of what keeps me going, and why I say that motivation isn't real. It's just it's like a page in a book. That it's just not something that's constant. Anyway, so that's what I have to say for today. I hope everybody has a blessed day. I hope you guys are, doing things that you don't want to do when you're supposed to be doing them. And not just because you have to, but because you want to, because that's the biggest deal, is wanting to do things and wanting to be better and wanting to keep pushing. Stay blessed.